Like we live in a world that it seems the distractions are ever increasing. And so to be able to remain focused becomes, right, a very valuable skill. Right? And that's something I've watched you be really proficient.
You know, if I said to your kids, okay, how are we going to stay focused? We're going to get in the car and we're going to go drive to Florida to Disney World. How are we going to stay focused that whole time and not get off on the exit and go get distracted by this, that, and the other? Well, it's easy, okay? The kids aren't going to let you get off focus because they have a vision of where they want to go. So it usually comes down to one of two things. Either I don't have a focus on where I'm going, okay, and it's not an obsession,
Sure.
okay, or I'm letting outside things distract me. I've always made a decision not to let other people's urgency become my urgency.
That's good.
Not to let other people's challenges. I mean, I'm not ignoring them. Okay, I'm just placing it in a spot where it doesn't change my focus. And I'm not saying that you just snap a finger and that happens, but it really comes down to that, okay? And as you mentioned, today's day and age, notifications, all that. I mean, I don't have any notifications on my phone.
Really?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing that can take me off my game is my wife or my kids having something that requires urgency.
Yeah.
Okay. And even then, they know that try to get a hold of me, but if it's not,
Sure.
you know, I don't believe focused people are just superhuman. I think they set up barriers around their life to make sure when they need to be focused, they can stay focused.
Yeah. Well, what are some of those barriers? And Dave, you can speak to this. What are some of those barriers that you put in your life practically, like on a daily basis, right? Because it's I love the analogy of Disney World and being able to be really passionate and excited about the destination. That certainly helps. But in a practical day-to-day basis, that sounds good, but it's a little bit tougher sometimes. What are some of the guardrails or the barriers you put inside, whether it's technology or time blocking? Like, how do I practically set that up?
Yeah, I think in my world, it's starting the day out right. So it's starting out by making sure I'm reviewing my goals, making sure I'm using a written planner. I can't use an electric planner. That can remind me of something that's happening, but I can't use that if I'm actually building something, growing something. I need to have that in front of me every day. And if I review my goals in the morning, if I do that at night, if I plan my day and use my planner, I stay within those guardrails.
Yeah.
As soon as I don't do that, then all these different distractions pop in.
I think it's also communicating with the people that could distract you.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember when I first, quit my job and started as an entrepreneur, everybody thought I was their taxi. Everybody thought that, oh, Chris isn't doing anything. Oh, okay. So it's conversations with the key people in your life, to let them know what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. What you need to do. It's not, here's what I'm willing to do, here's what I'm not willing to do. And I think most people could take a week or 2 weeks of their life and tell very quickly where their distractions are.
Right.
And just putting up walls to avoid those.
And I think different personality types have to deal with that differently.
Right.
Because I would be, more stability in relation.
Sure.
Or structure and relationship. And so my relationship part will allow me to get distracted.
Right.
Because I feel, oh, well, what's more important? Well, more important is accomplishing what we chose ahead of time to accomplish and seeing that through, not what's immediate but pulls on my heart.
Right. Yeah.
And all the more reason to have that conversation with those folks, because if you had a job, they wouldn't call you up and whatever. Okay, they know how to respect the boundaries.
Right.
They just need to be aware of the boundaries.
Yeah.
To protect you, protect
I think we humans work better with having little rewards as well. So on Sunday night, when you plan your schedule that whole week to keep yourself in line and to accomplish the task on Friday when you've hit your goal, then you've got maybe a little reward on Saturday or Sunday. So that also helps motivate you to not get distracted
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah. So that's a great concept too. So with entrepreneurship and leadership, communication is a huge part of really just any leader's day, and that can sometimes be what knocks a person off track. And I'm genuinely curious. Do you set specific times to communicate as far as returning phone calls, returning emails? Is that an important piece of it?
Yeah, and that, to me, that's not the hard part. Okay, returning a phone call, returning a text, returning whatever. Okay, I'm not going to avoid that. Okay, exercise,
Right.
prospecting, booking my KTs. That's the stuff I'll avoid,
Right.
and I'll never come back to.
Sure.
Yeah, if that makes any sense. If I get distracted in that time I've allocated for those kind of things, it's very, very, very hard to circle back around that day and get that stuff done.
Sure.
So when I'm in the mode to do that, when I've structured the time to do that, I want to get it done.
Right.
Those of us that exercise, okay? If I normally exercise in the morning and I don't get to it,
Not doing
it ain't happening, okay? It's not that I don't want to, it's just I'll always find something,
Sure.
some excuse why I can't. So,
Yeah.
putting that in your calendar, hey, I'm gonna return phone calls or do whatever, okay, that's not something you're gonna avoid.
Right.
It's the work, other things.
Yeah. Well, Dave, you and Chris have both mentioned something about, your morning times, your morning routines. Walk me through that. What are the things you prioritize first in your day? Because I think people that live unfocused lives, right, from the time they get out of bed, it's just rushing to the next urgent matter, right? They're not living on purpose. And I find most successful people are really, really diligent with how they start their day. What are some of the things that you prioritize as this has to be done first?
Yeah, well, I mix in my walking my dogs with some exercise.
Okay.
So I do a big loop around the property every morning, and I'll do like my legs this day, my upper body this day, and I kind of get my blood flowing. But then I come in and I spend time with God.
Yeah.
Right after that, I'm reviewing my goals, I'm reviewing my schedule, and then on to the day.
On to the day.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of challenges people have is they get up at the very last minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they've lost the time. So now they're in urgent mode. So I think one of the first things is just to get up at the time you're going to say you're going to get up.
Right.
Okay. Then, if you planned it well, you got time to do these things, and they are the highest priorities, in my
Right.
opinion. So it doesn't become this negotiating with yourself. Okay. I should do this, or I shouldn't do this. I don't have enough time now. And away you go.
And if you create a schedule like Dave was just talking about, your day goes so much better.
Yeah. Sure.
So much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
One of
less
my-
stressful.
Yeah, one of my stumbling blocks was I used to be that I'm going to wake up at 4:45, and from 4:45 to 4:50, I'm going to like do these three things, and then at 4:50 to 5:15, I'm going to do this, and then what would happen is I'd get up 5 minutes late. I'm like, oh, it's pointless. Why am I even going to try to go after that? So I also backed off that part of it. I get up same time early every morning. I'm kind of forced by the dogs are good things from that they force you to get your butt out of bed in the morning too. Yeah. But I get up early and then, but I don't make it like religious that I have to, these things in this order. If I miss something, I forgive myself and I'm back on to the next thing.
Sure.
That's helped.